Well, it's hard to cope with if you're not getting help because there's no timetable as to when you might have an explosion or when your personal relationships might work out. So basically, it comes down to a good deal of anger toward people, a good deal of acting out, and unless there's intervention, it can be very difficult and very harmful. I read his statement saying that he saved his career and probably his life, and he probably did. I would think that there'd be every reason to be optimistic in his case because he recognized the problem, he sought help, he seems to be responding well to the problem. As long as he has a support system and he cooperates with it, he should do very well. And I was thinking if we excluded everybody with borderline personality disorder, we'd have a lot of people out of work in addition to what we have already. I think if they recognize the problem, they get the help they need and have a support system, there's no reason why they can't function very well. Image is important in sports. And the image of a team, the image of an organization is a very important aspect of it. And unfortunately, sometimes the greater good of the individual is sacrificed for that image. But when it's recognized and the help that the individual needs is provided, things can work out all right. I have done evaluations of potential draftees for organizations. Not every organization does that. Some organizations have psychologists evaluate and then pay no attention to the evaluation. But it's a very individualized thing. Organizations run differently. If you asked every organization in professional sports, they would all tell you they have a psychologist someplace along the way. Players will say they've never seen one in some organizations. So it really varies.
Borderline personality disorder. And it's amazing he's doing this because that's the one disorder that we psychologists talk about as being really difficult to treat. There's almost a stigma against that disorder. So for him to come out like this and talk about it's amazing. Borderline personality disorder, it's really characterized by a lot of things, but it's mostly unstable relationships, unstable self-image, a lot of impulsivity involved in this disorder. So people with this disorder, typically you think of females having it. It's about 75% females, but there's also the idea that males are underdiagnosed. But there's a lot of self-mutilation, attempts at suicide, a lot of what happens oftentimes is as kids, the relationship with the parent might not be strong, they might not bond well, and so they develop what's called splitting. So deep, intense feelings of anger can come out of nowhere, and then that can be followed by extreme idealization. So it's really unstable relationships, self-image, emotions, and a lot of impulsivity. Like they might go out and gamble, or they might engage in a lot of risky behavior or sexual behavior. I hope, and I really think with treatment, it's great he came out with this. I hope that this is going to be really good for the entire sports world to show people that, you know what, you don't have to be hiding these problems. Warren Moon came out and talked about the fact that he was going in the back door of his therapist's office for years, becoming a Hall of Famer. So I think, congratulations to Tony Sperano and Brandon Marshall for getting this out. And more importantly, Brandon is going to get some help now. And he needs help. This is very serious. It's a very serious problem. He's going to need therapy for a long time. He can still become a great and now even greater Miami Dolphin player. And I applaud him. And I challenge every executive in the NFL to institute what I call the Tough Guys Talk Initiative in my new book, The Mental Performance Index.